CPI, what does it mean for mortgages? Let's talk about it on Today in Mortgages. Hey, what's up, Dreammakers? Welcome back to the show. We're talking about what's real, what's hype, and what you should actually be paying attention to out there in the world of mortgage and real estate news. Rich, for a while there, it felt like we didn't have enough to talk about, and now it feels like we just have too much to talk about. How are you feeling?
I'm good. Let's
Yeah,
talk
just
about it. Get through it. It's good info.
Well, we do have some interesting takes on this CPI report that came out yesterday. We're going to talk about a few of those. First, let's look at the article that we pulled today. It's from Market Watch. It says rent increases are driving overall inflation, but it's a lot more complicated than you think. So, Rich, first of all, if anybody wasn't paying attention yesterday to these really important announcements, what happened in the CPI report overall?
I mean, overall, it was as expected, just actually a tick lower than expected.
Yeah, Rich, that's right. So we came in lower than expected, which seems like really good news. Obviously, inflation is going down. That's one of the things that you and I talk about here all the time that the Fed is trying to do along with their jobs mandate. So we said it on Tuesday. These things playing together work really well. We got lowering inflation. We have pretty good jobs. So there's not a lot of incentive for the Fed to make any rate moves. So probably no change in that front, right?
No, there won't be any change till the end of the year, unless something tragic happens. But we're looking pretty much. We're gonna just kind of little bumpy roads until we get to a position where the mandates are hit.
Yeah, but this report shows us trending in the right direction. One thing that is not trending in the right direction, Rich, and what I really want to talk to you about today is that shelter index that's wrapped
Yeah.
into the CPI report. One of the interesting things, it says shelter index increased by 4% over the past 12 months, accounting for more than half of the 0.2% monthly rise in overall CPI. So a lot of things are coming down. Obviously, food prices look like they came down quite a bit. Eggs, which everyone loves to talk about, came down like almost 13%. So that problem seems to be solved. One problem that we can't seem to solve is this shelter cost, and that is kind of artificially bumping up this inflation number. And it feels like we've talked about before, a catch 22. We can't get that inflation number down until housing prices come down, but housing prices are largely and somewhat driven by the fact that people can't get into houses because of high rates. So, what do we do, Rich?
Well, it's not just high rates for homeownership, that is one of the pieces why
Sure.
rents are so high, right? If they can't buy, they got to rent. And we got a housing shortage. And since 2020, rents have been rising a ton for many reasons. It's not just greedy landlords. Like at the initial, when nobody wanted to live in apartments and high rise condos and they were looking for houses to rent, yeah, there was a little greed there because the demand was high and the supply was low. But now we've got another issue. I mean, just here in Arizona, in Phoenix, right now, since 2020, rents are up 84%.
Wow.
Yeah, and median incomes have only increased 22%. So, and and the landlords, they got so much control over it now, they can decide who they want to rent it to. So they've got plenty of opportunity, plenty of people that need it, so they can put qualifications themselves. They want 30% debt to income. They don't even care about debt to income. They're actually they want to see you make 3 times the rent per month. So it's really hard. One of the reasons they need that, aside from the shortage, look at what's happening as homes appreciate. A lot of these landlords own homes and apartment buildings. What's happening is cost of insurance for them is rising, just like every homeowner. Cost of real estate taxes, because of all the appreciation, your state and local tax authorities are rising property taxes. So that combined with all of the other stuff, we're seeing outrageous rent. And that's what keeps driving that inflation up for housing. We have a major housing shortage and we need some solutions.
It's right, Rich. A big piece of that shelter cost comes from what should rents be. And if people can't buy, like you said, then they're going to rent. That demand goes up, supplies kind of stayed even, and you're just going to get higher pricing. And so one of the things that we got to do, people always say, is we got to build our way out of this. But Rich, one of the things that we're seeing right now with the kind of uncertainty that we've been talking about with tariff land is builders maybe trying to pull back, hedge their bets, wait on, making different orders until that tariff stuff gets evened out. And so one of the things in the article said rent prices could accelerate in the future as builders pull back on supply due to tariffs. Obviously, we've seen deals in the last week on that, but it is still an uncertainty and a concern. So, Rich, how do you see that playing into this overall housing rents inflation and the timeline on that being able to come down?
Again, we don't know. And the whole tariff war, we're going to tariff, we're not going to tariff, we're going to tariff. It's that uncertainty is crazy for builders. Listen, I was just in Home Depot, and there are lines of builders getting toilets and faucets and things because they can't get them from other suppliers because they're short and they don't want to be tariffed. Your big box, home improvement stores like Home Depot and Lowe's, they brought in a lot of products. So builders are going directly to retail, stores to try to get product to get their homes finished so they can deliver them to the buyer. So it is really tough, and we just don't know when this is going to end. We need some serious thought, some brain power in our our whole government, that anybody that touches housing, there needs to be an all-out effort to make this better somehow. And we're just not getting that. I mean, we're still talking about tariffing Canada for lumber coming in, and a big supply of our lumber comes from them. So that's stuff that's going to hit us later. And we're not even seeing that now, or we are seeing a little bit of it now, but we haven't seen the worst of it. So this stuff needs to be solved now, or it just prolongs and perpetuates the problem.
Rich, just looking at those numbers where we've had a decrease overall in inflation, but a 4% year over year increase in housing and rents, it just seems very obvious that that needs to be the number one priority if we want to get inflation down, figuring out how to solve these housing problems. But we really just haven't seen that much talk about it in the administration and in politics right now. There's so many other big balls in the air that people are paying attention to that this is just kind of getting shoved out of the way. But, if you want to improve inflation, you want to improve the economy, seems like the no-brainer answer to me. And Rich, I'll just pull out my tiny violin and tell a quick story. We just replaced some windows, and we're waiting to match our new window shades with the old window shades, and called our supplier, and they said, I can't get those window shades anymore because of tariffs. And so, that's really why this problem needs to be solved quickly.
That's a real issue, Michael. It's
you know?
the news outlets, it doesn't matter which one, everybody's kind of like, they don't know what to even talk about or how it's going to be solved. We really have an issue there. And, we're going to be putting newspaper up, for your windows pretty soon if nothing gets solved pretty quickly. I don't know.
It won't be the first time, Rich.
Michael. I don't know, but it's hurting. And that inflation number, that core CPI number, is not going to come down to the levels the Fed needs it to be unless the biggest piece of it is addressed. That's the real story. And no one's talking about it, really.
Well, I appreciate that, Rich. My windows are not a big problem, but there are a lot of people who are struggling to, find the right place to live because of all this. And, the knock-on effects of inflation continue to kind of permeate throughout the economy. And so, Rich, this is tough. It's kind of down in the details. We encourage our guys and our gals not to be down in the details. Rich, what are you talking about with our loan officers right now?
You control what you can control. Like, be knowledgeable, understand what's happening, be able to explain it to your clients and your referral partners, just to add some credibility to what's going on here. But you can't control it. What you can do is try to counter it with different products, mortgage products, maybe some down payment assistance programs, maybe some permanent buy downs, maybe some temporary buy downs to interest rate, just to get through the next year or 24 months. There are a lot of options for home buyers today, but they're just sitting because no one is coaching. And so what we encourage our people to do is really understand what's happening and how to coach your buyers and referral partners on how to get a deal done. That's the most important thing we can do. We can't get bogged down on the stuff we can't control. We got to just address what we can solve right now today with our home buyers and referral partners.
And before you can go out there and coach your borrowers, it's good to get coaching of your own. If you're interested in joining the best network in mortgages and getting coaching from experts like Rich and others to go out there and serve your borrowers better, click that grow link below. We'll get you all the information you need to know about the best network in mortgages, network funding. Rich, anything you want to say on this report? Anything else you want to talk about right now before we sign off?
No, I do want to address coaching real quick because, it's not always that, a production leader is coaching their people. I mean, it happens, but that's one person. How's everybody, how am I going to coach everybody? The one thing that we do here is that we have peer-to-peer group meetings where they share their experiences in their marketplaces. We're all over the United States. So every marketplace is different. Different things are happening in different marketplaces. So we get together once a month and we share ideas on what's working, what's not working, how they solve certain problems for a certain home buyer. These are that's real coaching, real live. You trust it. It's got credibility. It's your counterpart, your colleague. They're showing you and teaching you how to do that. That's what we do, because sometimes it's just not enough to hear it from me or some of the other coaches. Sometimes you just want to hear it from your colleagues.
That is a good word, Rich. So if you're interested in that, again, click that grow link below. We'll talk more about it. Hey, Rich, thanks again for keeping us smart here on the podcast. Thanks everyone out there for watching and listening wherever you are. We appreciate you joining us. We'll see you next time on Today in Mortgages. Today in Mortgages is produced by Network Funding LP, which is an equal housing lender, NMLS 2297. The content of this program is meant to be a commentary on mortgage and real estate news, and any discussion of rates and or products should not be taken as an individual mortgage or home buying advice or pricing estimates. And any commentary on this show should not be considered a promise to make a loan. All applicants for a loan must qualify, and you should consult a professional regarding your individual loan scenarios for your financial situation. Visit our website at nflp.com/licenses for all state licensing and other legal information.